What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another video from Pink Tourmaline. This is another video that is once again, this idea has once again been, I guess, inspired is like not really the right word, but it has the idea to make this video was prompted by more research into these Jeffrey Epstein files, which continue to blow my mind. And where I wanted to go with it today is ask the question, why? Why would all of these people go to these extreme lengths to carry out such like egregious crimes? And I'm going to tell you why the why is important. We can ask in isolation. Might feel like a futile question to ask. Why does a serial killer do what he does, or different folks that commit mass atrocities? Why do they do what they do? Okay, sure, and there might not always be a great reason, but I think or an easy explanation. But I think it's a relevant question when we're talking about these types of people, aka the most powerful, most influential, and theoretically the most informed people on the planet. Why would they continue to behave this way and carry on with all this behavior? For what? For control of this temporary place? For a finite life to accumulate what? That will all go away eventually when you pass on from this life? Unless I'm missing something, unless there's more to it than what meets the eye. But that's the question that I wanted to ask. So let's first start at the beginning. I think the main reason why people are able to go out and commit these massive atrocities in general, from a baseline perspective, is psychopathic. They're psychopaths, essentially, meaning they don't have any empathy. Now, you hear of psychopaths, the way they operate is people are just like objects to them. They can't understand, like, if they inflict pain necessarily, or they inflict damage to somebody, that it doesn't register as inflicting damage on a person. It's just moving an object or manipulating an object to get what they want. And that's kind of all they can focus on, is just achieving their objective. So that's from a lack of empathy. Like, I understand that, of course, you have people on this planet that seem to feel nothing from hurting others. Like, I get that. So you're going to go on, carry on these crazy things. Maybe they develop, like when we talk about serial killers, they develop these tendencies or these obsessions, and then they carry it out because there's nothing holding them back. But what's perplexing about the people that are mentioned in the Epstein files is these are some of the most powerful people on the planet, and some people that it's being alleged that covertly run the entire planet, run the entire financial system behind a veil. And so ostensibly, you would imagine that these people are privy to the highest levels of information on the planet. And I have to believe that information also includes things about extraterrestrials, things about the nature of how the entire world operates in the human world. And I gotta believe, I just have to believe that with all that knowledge and all that covert research that's happening, that these guys also have done some digging for sure into what's beyond this particular life and this particular vessel. I have to believe it. Whether you look at research that has been done into different types, like covert research that may have been done in terms of telepathy, or even what's called remote viewing, these topics that have been discussed on different podcasts and whatnot, that the military has actively tried to investigate and research. So you imagine these guys, these people that are committing all these atrocities, I have to believe that they got to know somewhere that this is a temporary game. And then once this life ends, they slip out, and they're going to have to face the consequences, face the music for everything they've done. And I don't mean face the music in terms of going to eternal damnation. Like, I've already talked about that on this channel. I don't believe that exists. I think the whole idea of, at least this idea of eternal damnation, I think is nonsensical. To punish somebody for a finite life, for a finite period of time eternally, is grossly disproportionate. It doesn't even make sense. It's infinity to something finite is like infinity to nothing, effectively. So maybe there's some other punishment, or in terms of maybe having to come back and reincarnate or live a very difficult life that puts you through what you put others through, right? But anyways, whatever it may be, I would have to imagine that these people are aware that these actions are going to have a reaction. Whatever they're doing now, they're going to have to pay for it or atone for it in some way, whether it's, like I said, going through these other lives, painful lives, and reversing the spin of their energy, leveling up their vibration after doing all that damage to their vibration. So why do they keep doing that? If these people are going to have the ultimate knowledge of the truth of our existence and the nature of reality, why are they going about continuing on all these terrible behaviors when it amounts to nothing, and amounts to fleeting stuff and meaninglessness, but then consequences later? And this is a sincere question. I don't know the answer. I have a couple of theories. One, they're in so deep right now and they're so depraved at this point. It's a combination of being psychopaths. They have no empathy. They are compulsive with their behaviors and obsessions, and they literally cannot stop themselves. And because they fed into it so much, it's just gotten worse and worse. And there's nothing maybe they just don't, at this point they're like, we know we're going to have to face these consequences, and we're just going to ride this thing until the wheels fall off. And then when we have to face the consequences, we'll face them. That's one option. It's not a very intelligent option. Option two is maybe they know something that we don't. Maybe there's more to this story, and they're aware of it. But I don't think that's it. I don't think that's it. I think that whatever they know, I feel like they know the true nature, and they've just gotten to this point of depravity that they just can't pull themselves out, and they're just going to ride it until the wheels fall off and deal with everything later. That's what I think. But I do wonder how can, if these are supposedly purportedly some of the most intelligent people, at least let's not say intelligent, but at least most influential people on the planet, why would they keep going down this path? At some point, when they're somebody intelligent in their circle, be like, yo, we gotta save ourselves, because we're going down a path that's just making things worse and worse and worse and harder and harder and harder. And we're gonna have, like, nothing can be hidden, nothing can be escaped. And that's kind of my understanding of what I've gathered from all these NDEs. Everything you do, and we've all, nobody's perfect on this planet. Not trying to say that, but everything we've done, by all accounts, is out there for eternity. There's no escaping it. There's no arguing about it. There's no denying it. Certain things we will have to deal with via the life review. We're going to have to feel those emotions, those negative emotions that we cause others, and hopefully we learn from them. And that seems to be the part of that atonement process, or whatever you want to say, that learning process. And so nothing is going to be erased from the annals of history and the annals of the universe. It's all there. They're going to have to deal with it. I got to believe that these people know that. I just have to believe it. And so what are they doing? They just keep digging the hole deeper and going down deeper and deeper. And maybe they just feel, what's the point at this point? They've done so much already. What's the harm? What's the difference if they do one more depraved thing or go down a little bit deeper into that rabbit hole? I don't know. I guess that's it. But I'll end on this. If that's the case, we should all look at these people at the top of the food chain, in these positions of power, that are going to these crazy places and committing these atrocities, as, I mean, they're going to be trapped by their own wrongdoings. They're ultimately, some people might look at celebrities or the president and maybe have a bit of envy and say, wow, they get to go to all these cool places and have all these experiences that I'll never be able to experience in this life. But in reality, they're probably jealous of us. They're probably jealous that we are capable of empathy, that we are more connected to other people, and that we do go to bed every day feeling good about ourselves, because I doubt they do. We are actually the ones in the position of power. And I think as this world continues to wake up, we're going to see that. We're going to see that the vast majority of us, the rest of us outside of this pocket of psychopaths that seem to have seized control of this planet somehow, the rest of us are actually in the best positions possible. And like I said, as I think we wake up more and more, and I think this unloading of these files is part and parcel of that wake up process. The more we wake up, we're going to realize that we should feel empowered, not the ones that maybe, might have intellectual advantages, but when it comes to morality and when it comes to empathy, they're lacking they're lacking completely. And that's far worse. So anyways, that's what this video is about. Asking the question: thinking about it. I don't know the answer. I'd love to know if you guys have thoughts or comments on this topic. Like I said, my mind has been spinning. My mind has been reeling as I've been diving into these files and the reality of the nature of our planet. And the only good thing that I can say about learning about this information is that I do think that this is a clear sign, one of many, 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 many other signs that the planet is truly waking up and our consciousness is beginning to rise collectively. And hopefully we can transition into a new, beautiful world that isn't run by these types of people. Let's hope. Thank you guys so much for joining, and I will see you in the next video. Take it easy.